Welcome, everyone. Okay, it's 6:01, and we are going to call to order the regular May meeting of the Norfolk Board of Education. Thank you, everyone, for coming today. It's so nice to have so many people here. First on our agenda, we have an awards presentation. So we have two announcers or two folks here today to give those awards out. And we're going to start with Sally Carr.
Thank you so much for including this in your program. I'm here to present the Barbara Norfolk Award. She was a very dedicated volunteer to this school right here. She graduated from Greenwich High School as the most athletic female. After high school, she played professional football. In 1963, she moved to Norfolk, Connecticut, married Michael. Her true passions for the rest of her years were the children of Norfolk and sports. She devoted many years of her life to Botel in a number of ways. She generously became the first gym teacher here, serving without a dime, no pay whatsoever, strictly as a volunteer. She served many years on this Board of Education. In addition to being a school bus driver. Tonight, this award in her honor is going to go to the most athletic female from our 6th grade this year. I'd like to announce that tonight this award will go to Alexandra Luciana. Thank you. Next, we're going to...
Sally, before you move on, I should have said, Sally Carr, in addition to being a town historian in many ways, is our former Board of Ed chair and has served Norfolk and the Botel School for a very long time.
You're very kind. I've been here, not only was I here, I was at the Norfolk Center School, but
Amazing.
I'm only 39. I'm only 39. But our next award is the Norfolk Connecticut Children's Foundation Award. It was given by, going to be given by an old friend and neighbor of mine, Lynn Satterley Dees. So as Sally just said, my name is Lynn Satterley Dees, and I do have the privilege of presenting the Satterley Humanitarian Award. And this is an annual award given to one of the Botel 6th graders who exemplifies kindness and helpfulness toward others. And it's a really fun award for me to get because it was created in honor of my parents, Ken and Dottie Satterley, who for over 40 years cared for kids with special needs and created the Rural School. And so when the school closed in 1990, the Norfolk Connecticut Children's Foundation was created out of funds from the sale of the Rural School. And I'm very proud to be a board member of this great organization that provides Norfolk children with opportunities that they may not otherwise have. You all know about us and take advantage of whatever you need from us. So these are some of the words that the awardee's teacher said about the student who is richly deserving of this award. This year's recipient is consistently positive, encouraging, and supportive to others. The student enjoys working with peers on topics that are learning about and asks questions, gives feedback, and encouragement to increase their understanding. The student is a member of the student council and brings to life their mission of spreading kindness throughout the school, local and global community. The student is friendly, compassionate, kind, intelligent, and always willing to lend a hand to children and adults alike. This seems to be the student's disposition in and out of school, often seen at sporting events, cheering on peers, and offering positive motivation. The awardee receives a $100 gift card to Staples, hopefully help them with their school supplies next year. And also, the name goes on the plaque that remains here at Hotel. So it is my great pleasure to present the Satterley Humanitarian Award to Aiden Gomez.
We have one World War tonight. Throughout the Litchfield County area, there are approximately 150 awards that go to students in 6, 7, 8 grades. And they're presented, it's the Litchfield County, the Connecticut Association of School Superintendent Leadership Award. Tomorrow evening, there will be a lovely banquet and award ceremony, and the recipient of the award will be presented to this with the certificate again tomorrow night. So again, I'm going to have to take that tonight, but I'm really pleased to be able to present this award to Reed and do tonight. I'm going to share a few remarks from his teachers collectively shared this with me. They said Reed is, well, we know Reed is a 6th grade student at Hotel Elementary. Reed is polite, he's considerate, caring, and kind to everyone. He challenges himself academically and achieves at very high levels in every subject. He's a role model for other students. He consistently soars by showing self-control, offering kindness, respect, achieving his goals, and being ready to learn. Reed is a member of our student council and plans projects to spread kindness. Participates in band and chorus. Outside of school, he plays soccer, basketball, and baseball. He's a student and a friend at Hotel who is very highly respected, looked up to, and we are very proud of him, and I'm pleased as can be. We're so thrilled that you could all come tonight. I just want to say that, we've done a little bit of things, doing things a little bit differently this year in terms of all of the awards that are given out. We have an ad hoc awards committee, and the general consensus was that to do things in a smaller venue, right, these would be more private, more personal, more intimate, and I think it's been a good change for us. We're so happy that our students were here, supported by family and friends. Thank you to the presenters for coming and joining us this evening. And you're all welcome to stay for the rest of the board meeting, but we will understand totally if you want to go celebrate and have ice cream or hot chocolate or something and be on your way. So don't feel obligated to stay for the rest of the meeting. Thank you.
Before you go, can I get a picture of all the presenters with the recipients, please?
So we have that.
Maybe we could have them stand in front of the blue curtain.
The other awards.
Oh, by the, okay.
Is that okay?
It's not as pretty a background. The color will not suit them. totally good. Thank you, everyone.
Yes,
Thank you very
thanks.
much. Congratulations.
Now we can talk to no one.
We're so nicely set up, though, to address our adoring.
You're
fans.
You need
welcome.
those paper, like when it was during COVID, and they would, like at the basketball games and stuff, they put the paper people. Anyway, now this, yes. John will get,
Let's add that in. Janet hasn't joined us, right?
no,
So, yeah.
there's no one to do public comments online or here, so
Okay.
you want to read your spiel or?
Oh, I'll do my spiel.
Okay.
Yeah, why I ever pass up the opportunity to speak into a mic, right? So the Norfolk Board of Education loves public comment and we encourage it. We ask that the public keep comments to 5 minutes or less. And we also like people to know that it is our policy that we respond to public comments sometime after the meeting, but don't immediately engage. That allows us to do a better job of responding in a careful and thoughtful way. But since we have no members of the public here, we will move on to the next. The heater can be turned off with a dial, I think. Although the one on the right, the dial may be broken.
Yeah, I know that one has the dial.
I could check I don't think it's labeled in the breaker box, and I think the breaker box is locked. But you could give it a shot.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
that's,
surprising that the heater's on, because I'm quite warm.
yeah, I know. Where's the thermostat? It's here to just adjust. Make a motion to have the heaters in this room revised for future meetings.
They try.
We're gonna try never to have another board meeting in here.
Case we need a, I
Do
don't
you
know.
want me to try
sound
to
very-
find Tyler? See if he can turn that off?
it's too hot Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They knew that we needed it quiet. The handlers are off, but
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes of the
previous meeting.
April regular board meeting.
I'll second that motion. So we'll just tell Kathy.
All those in favor?
All right, motion passes.
Okay, now. moving on to Correspondence, there was no correspondence I received that we needed to share. So we will move on to the superintendent's report.
okey-doke. Just one little note, I had said in the packet that the PTO was scheduling a staff appreciation lunch for the 5th of May, but I understand that's been rescheduled because we have had a bit of an uptick with cases of positive COVID over the last couple of weeks. To that end, just so that you know, I think I forwarded an email to you that went out to the staff, and since then we have sent out another announcement that you may have gotten about having students in cohorts wearing masks for the 5 days if we've had a case or two in those classrooms. As it is now, students are not quarantining, even if they've been a close contact. So we're going to take every mitigation strategy that we can, and we'll monitor it closely. And hopefully this will not get to be a bigger deal where we have to look at more, aggressive measures. But I believe we now have 7 known cases within the school. So we're aware of them. The parents have been contacted if their child has been exposed, and we've put in place a mask mandate in those classrooms for the next 5 days when the kids return. Any questions about that?
I have a question of which breaker it is that controls that, because that is something I would really love to know.
I'll find out tomorrow. Would you show me which breaker it is, so we won't have to bother you to do that next time? Thank you, dear. And then this came in the mail today, and I just thought I would share it with you. It's Education Week. The headline, teacher job satisfaction hits all-time low. And it's a very long article that basically goes on to say that, you know, this is a tough time of year anyway, but across the state, across the nation, teachers are breaking down. There has been just this huge phenomenon of COVID hitting people in a way, teachers in a way that really is, you know, exacerbates what typically we might see in a May or June. So given what we've, you know, weathered here over the last month or so, I think we're not, you know, an anomaly here. It really is indicative of a couple of years of COVID and a lot more expectations. And, you know, they talk about, you know, high numbers of teachers who are retiring early, teachers who are saying they're not sure if they want to come back and continue their work as a teacher. It really has had a tremendous impact. So among the COVID casualties, we've certainly looking at teachers who have really felt it, and, you know, the teachers that have experienced it firsthand, I'm sure could put an exclamation point at the end of that. But things here have been quiet. Things have been running smoothly. There's some excitement about getting ready for the end of the year, although a little heightened anxiety about COVID. But I think we're getting back to a baseline where things are pretty smooth and we're in a happier place. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Great. So I don't think we've yet set the date, the revised date for the staff appreciation lunch, but it is one that I can tell you from the PTO side that we're excited to be kind of back to a more normal way to be able to hopefully be able to celebrate that with so hopefully that will help to boost some spirits and let people know just how much we appreciate them. And since this is the week for teacher appreciation, I think this is a great time to say how very important teachers are in our school, in our building, and to our children and to our families, and how much we appreciate them and all that they do. They live a vocation that allows them to have an impact that lives on well beyond their time in the classroom. And I know that I admire teachers enormously. And I hope that they know that.
Well, thank you, Ian. And truly, you know, the teachers at Botel, I think, share a distinction that we, except for a very short period of time, were in person, you know, for the whole 2 years, which came with a lot of additional challenges. And even for the months that we were shut down and remote, they've stepped up to the plate and have continued when we need to move certain students into remote to provide as robust a program as we can. So while we know that across the nation, there was a lot of learning loss and a lot of regression in a lot of places, and we experienced it to some degree, but thanks to our teachers, we really maintained a pretty constant learning curve. So I appreciate and echo your compliments to our teachers.
Okay, so the 6th grade promotion ceremony is set for June 14th at 6 p.m. And you already mentioned how it'll be different with the awards this time. Is there anything that we should know about or needs to prepare for, or you have any special needs from the board to participate there that we should?
No, as always, we welcome board members to come to the promotion ceremony. I believe the parents have their job all under control. I anticipate the slideshow and all of that. We're hoping that we've got enough room in the gym that we'll be able to separate chairs and not have to worry about masking or any extraordinary measures. But again, we'll monitor that, and should we need to, we'll put some additional strategies in place for that night. But my understanding is that there will be the traditional gathering for students up here afterwards. And we will have some of the awards presented that night along with the diplomas.
Will the, and I just can't remember from that committee meeting, will all the awards be listed in the program?
Yes, we have an insert and all of the awards and all the recipients will be included in there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so even the ones that aren't being presented that evening will
Correct,
be,
all of the
Great.
good news
just
gathering,
wanted
the
to
board
confirm.
meetings, yeah.
great, excellent.
We're
Okay.
still working on how to incorporate the fifth graders as part of that promotion ceremony as well.
Mhm.
I don't have the latest update, but I know we've had conversations about, having fifth graders either do some kind of an interview and somehow sharing, spotlighting each child, each sixth grader at the promotion ceremony, not so much with an award or as much as an acknowledgement of who they are and some special tidbits and trivia about those students. So we're looking forward to the changes being a little bit more exciting and making it a really nice ceremony for the kids.
Yeah, it's great. Since we have the opportunity to celebrate each individual, that's something I'm looking forward to being able to do. Okay, and it was nice to read that last bit there that the Board of Finance officially has voted to pass our budget. And thank you very much to John, Chair of our Budget Committee, and thank you for our Finance Committee and for making that happen.
So the Board of Finance passed our budget and the Board of Selectmen's budget, and both of those, so they've been approved, and so the town will vote on them to approve the budget on May 9th at the
May
town
9th.
meeting, Monday night,
Here.
here,
At 7:30.
7.
So.
Yeah.
And if nobody's listening, but you can still vote on the the Region 7 referendum till 8 o'clock tonight, which I forgot to go to town hall.
And then just as a side note, we've had some calls from Chelsea. There still seems to be some confusion somewhere town hall regarding the non-lapsing account. So I just want to do a quick review and make sure we all understand in case questions come up or you're hearing things. So the legislation passed a law that allows Board of Towns to put into a non-lapsing account up to 2% of the adopted budget that is returned to the town at the end of the year. So last year, our budget's about $250,000. So we could have put up to legally, the town could have taken up to $48,000, put it in an account, non-lapsing account to be used for educational reasons only.
Can I just clarify? The amount that can be put in is 2% of the adopted budget, not 2% of what's being given.
Correct, 2% of the adopted budget. So if $250,000 was 24, it would be about 48,000. The Board of Finance voted to only allow up to 1%. So last year, when we gave money back, they could put up to $24,000. We gave back 42,000. That number keeps coming up, but it's irrelevant. The law said that we gave back 42, so we could give back up to 48. We didn't give them 48, but we could give 24, which was the 1%. So that $24,000 went into the non-lapsing account. Of that $24,000, we requested, and they approved at Board of Finance, to give us $4,000 to pay for the awards cabinet, which is coming to a Hall of Flags near you soon. Which leaves $20,000 in the non-lapsing account, which we can add to every year. It can sit there and accumulate unlimited number of years. I heard Mike mention, oh, well, maybe we could use that money to go to the slide. Well, I guess they could, but I understand there are also other monies that the town could use to do the slide. But that money could go to our roof. It could do a parking lot. It could go towards the oil tank. It could go towards any number of things that, are related to the school. Or the school could request that money for something else relative to education. But in terms of how much and all of that, it's 2% of the adopted budget, not 2% of what was given back. And, it's a depending on every year, just about we've given money back and it can accumulate ad infinitum.
So if we give back 2%, but they only put away 1%,
Mhm.
they can do whatever they want with that other 1%.
That's what they've done for
But
years. It
can-
goes into the general fund.
Can we do whatever we want with the 1% that is earmarked for the school, or no?
We
just
can't
we have to give
necessarily
back?
do whatever we want. It has to be spent on educational funds, but I believe they have the prerogative of denying us. So when we said, could we have $4,000 of that to do the showcases? They said yes. They probably could have said no. They can't use it to build a bridge or to repair a road. It has to be related to education, but they could say, no, we want all of that $24,000 to help pay for the oil tank removal.
But if we get to June and we have $48,000 and we say, all right, instead of giving them back 48,000, we want to give them back,
We could spend it.
we could spend that money. without
Before we give
giving
it
them-
back, we could spend it.
And we always
Could
have
always do
that
that.
conversation.
It's like we
and
could have done it with the slide.
Right, we could have fixed the slide when it was $30,000 to repair.
Yes.
So,
Just,
you know,
just putting it out
we-
there.
at the end of the year, for anyone who may not know this, so when we develop a budget, it's our very best educated guess based on the information we have at the time, what we're going to need to run school for a year. There are always unexpected things that happen, good, bad, and ugly. So over this last couple of years, we did get unexpected COVID grant money. We were able to offset a lot of things, and that's why we were able to get back 48,000. We also have unexpected, expenses. We've just had a number of things, and we're over in building improvements in a pretty significant way. So at the very end of the year, when we see what we have, we balance all of our accounts throughout the budget. If we're over here and, under here, we bring that to the board at the next meeting. We'll do some of that and show you where we've moved things to cover expenses. Then the second thing we do is we look to see, are there any really important things that have come to light that we didn't know when we established the budget? Things that we've really, have a demonstrated need for. And we have those conversations, at finance committee level, at board level, and we spend that money. So this year, for instance, if we have enough money, we might decide to spend it on the cameras, even though we've got 10,000 in the budget for cameras. And what happens is if that money's in the budget, it means we get the cameras sooner than later. But now we've got $10,000 for improvements that is there in case anything else comes up. And at the end of the year, if it's still there and we don't need it to cover another unexpected overage, it goes back to the town. Like I said, there was one year where we had extraordinary special ed expenses that our overage offset. But every other year we've given money back. So I think we have a very good track record of saying that while we, don't deprive ourselves of what we know we need, we balance our budget, and every year, $5,000 to $20,000, last year, $42,000 has gone back to the town. So
Yeah, with the idea being that we do our best along the way to find where we can make,
that's right.
Right.
save money.
And
Just
give
like
back
you
in
would-
good faith without,
Yeah.
spending frivolously. Yes.
So next month, Kathy will have for you the budget balance, where we've been over, where we're under, and show you where we moved things. And then we'll have a sense, not, a definitive number, but we'll have a sense of where we're going to end the year. And we can begin to have some of those preliminary discussions about, here might be some recommendations for what we might want to spend with that money before we give it back. How much do we want to give back? I'm wondering if at maybe the next Board of Finance meeting, we should ask them to reconsider, increasing the 1% to 2%. At some point, I think Mike thought that they did do 2%, but they didn't. So, that might be something to consider before the end of the year, to ask Board of Finance if they would consider having a vote to increase, to the maximum, because it helps everybody. And we know we have some major projects to do, and
Is it is in an interest earning account, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, oh, I'm sure it is. We don't manage it, we
Right, right.
don't control it at all, but I can't imagine that it wouldn't be.
Is the confusion that Chelsea is calling about the 1% versus 2%, or is it the like the total budget versus the what's
I think
given
it's a
back?
lot of things, and Kathy might be,
was the amount.
the 42 keeps coming up. but we don't know what his question was.
I
wish
think
he
the
would
question that
email
keeps
me or
coming
ask
up
me.
is it the portion that we give back? Is the 1% or 2% from the portion that is returned, or is it from the full
From
budget?
the full budget.
I'm clear on it, but I
Yes.
think that that's the confusion piece, right? Is that your understanding, Amy?
I'm not sure if it's a new question.
Oh, okay.
I haven't heard anything.
But,
about
Okay.
that.
but I guess if we ended the year and our actuals were only 1% less than the proposed for the adopted budget, then we wouldn't be giving back over 1%. So like, so what would happen if we spent within that 2% of the adopted
Right.
budget?
So if we
It's
gave
up
back,
to 2%.
if the vote stays at 1%, that's the maximum. Our budget's pretty much stayed the same. So we're still talking about $48,000. If we had 48,000,
Oh, and it's up to 2%. So,
Right.
Up
okay,
to.
okay.
and it's
So
up to
whatever part
1,
of that is
so
funded by
1% would be 24,000, but
Right.
if we only gave back 9,000, then they
They
could
could put
take,
the whole thing.
That'd
the
be 9,000.
9,000 and put
Right,
it in,
okay.
up to 1%. But the up to 1% was a decision made by Board of Finance. They could vote to, if we had it, to give back up to the 2%.
That's
And it's
an
not like
op-
it, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's not an option, right? The first $24,000 that's given back goes into the non-lapsing, and then anything over that goes back to the general fund.
The way it is now, we, regardless of how much we give back, if we say we gave, let's use last year, we gave $42,000 back. If they had voted to allow up to 2%, they could have taken the entire 42, put it in the non-lapsing account. The vote was only up to 24. So they put the 24 in the non-lapsing account. And what's the difference between, between $18,000 went to the general fund. So they can spend that money any way they want to. So,
So the only thing,
They approved it only for that year. It's not guaranteed that every year they're gonna put 1%.
they only did it
oh, it
in
was only
1
1
year.
year thing? I thought it was,
I'm pretty sure the agreement was only for the.
Oh,
should
so we
go
need to
read
make
it.
sure.
Oh, then we
So we
need
should
to
go talk
really,
about
I
that.
will email Mike tomorrow and ask.
I know I have it upstairs somewhere.
and the thing about that is just that it's like protected money it's not like we have it and can like spend it as we choose to.
Right.
It still has to be approved by the Board of Finance, any
Yes.
expenditure. It's just that it's kind of it's
It's
special.
like in a
Restricted.
CD, you
Restricted
can't, yeah, it's a
fund,
restricted fund. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I was just confused. Did they think it was 1% of what you returned, you mean,
Yeah,
or,
I think that's the question I've gotten before.
right?
And I thought we had already
So that was
figured
only
out.
$2,000 instead of $20,000.
Right, exactly.
So they're confused about,
But see, that doesn't make any sense because
why would you only put $2,000 away?
also, yes, and also they already approved $4,000 before the cabinets. So I'm not sure why the question keeps coming up because it feels like it's been
Yeah, I'm
answered a
not
few
sure what the
times.
question is because no one has asked me directly. If I could see it in writing
So-
or get it from,
But there's $20,000 sitting in the non-lapsing account that needs to be used toward educational purposes. And as the Board of Education, we would say, here are some educational purposes that need funding. Can we, Board of Finance, use this much money from the non-lapsing account for these educational purposes? And then they yes or no.
Yes,
Right.
But
exactly.
it can't be, or it shouldn't be the Board of Finance saying, I think you guys should spend this money on X, Y, and
It's
Z."
not supposed to be that way.
Right.
Okay.
But I also think in that non-lapsing agreement, it was allotted only for capital improvements.
correct, there was that language was in there.
Oh, so it's not on curriculum. It's on, so that's why you could
Right.
pay for
The cabinet.
the cabinets, you could pay for windows or an AC unit.
Cameras or, yeah.
And that was
They
a
put that
restriction, that was a
stipulation
restriction put on by the
legally.
Board of Finance, but that's not part of the,
That's not the law.
The
The
law.
law doesn't make that restriction or that limitation. That was a Board of
All right,
Finance.
here's I have the thing from July 1st, 2018.
Okay.
An act increasing the amount of town may deposit into a non-lapsing account for unexpected educational funds. So Kathy, I'll send this to you, and then if there's any questions about what it's for.
That was the phrase unexpected educational.
Right.
well, since we have to come up with a new agreement anyway to sign, maybe we just have to be really clear in our language this time around. I don't remember. I think I signed something, but I don't have a.
Well, I
real
had
specific-
provided, every year I provide them the legal statute and ask them to consider it. And it didn't occur to me that they would take that language and,
Adjust it.
massage it to include, things like only to be used for capital improvements. and
I do
whatnot.
remember that at the time, though. I remember
Yeah.
them adding that in.
I
Yeah.
actually don't see that in here, but that's another. Maybe that's
Or
a
they
different,
talked about it.
maybe that's a different act. This is a non-lapsing account for unexpected educational funds.
All right.
But
It
Well,
was
so we
initially
should- we
adopted as
should-
a 1%, and then a couple of years ago, they increased it to 2%.
yeah,
We should just work on that language and, figure out if we need to have a new agreement this year, and then we can present it to the Board of Finance.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
But was it something at what Board of Finance meeting was it agreed to? Does it have to be agreed to before the adopted?
I don't know.
Budget is
Probably
voted on?
before we return the
I
money.
would say before the end
Before-
of the year,
before
and we would
June.
want to know that. I know you've got the copy from Board of Finance, and I have a copy of the state statute.
So we should get it on the agenda maybe for their.
For the
meeting next
upcoming
week.
meeting.
their June meeting. Or do they have
The-
another?
They
They
meet
want to
next
They
Tuesday,
meet after us, a week after us.
Oh,
next Tuesday night.
Oh,
is the
right, because
Board
that
of
was a
Finance.
special meeting when they
They meet-
passed the budget,
and they meet Tuesday, but that's the day after the town meeting,
the
but
town meeting.
So could you get in touch with Mike tomorrow, or do you prefer
I
me
will.
to?
Oh, no, I'll send him a message and,
Okay.
and let him know we had a conversation. And we would like to have it, however, if he wants to put it on his agenda, but he could expect that we are going to make a formal request to the Board of Finance to take action and to make it clear, what their
and you
intention
want to
is.
CC.
Yeah, I wonder, I guess it's most appropriate to come from you, or would you prefer?
Well,
it to
it
come-
could, it doesn't have to come from me. I mean, I'm happy to defer to you. I'm just
Maybe
like,
I'll email him and
All
I'll,
right.
and I'll copy you. I may talk to you about the exact language to
Okay.
use, but I'll copy you and I'll copy John.
Yeah, and their meeting is May 10th at 7:30. There's no agenda yet, so if you want to get on the agenda,
Now's the time.
right,
So I
Okay.
think they said it the Wednesday before.
okay.
I might be.
Right tonight. I will write tonight. Big star.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mary Beth.
okey-doke.
Does anybody have any other questions for Mary Beth before we move
No,
on?
Thank you.
Okay, so moving on to the principal's report, Lauren sent this along. Since she's not here, I'm just gonna review it quickly. We have we'll be welcoming 6 new pre-K students and families, six new pre-K students and families came to the screening on April 7th. Maybe we'll get a few more even for pre-K in the fall. She wanted to say thank you to the 6th graders and their families for making the pasta takeout dinner a success. And the 6th grade trip happened since we last met. I know I heard a lot of really great things about it. The kids seemed like really excited about it, had a good time. But a special big thank you to Mrs. Aslin and Mr. Byrne for chaperoning that. I think that's such a great experience. Kids always come back with a lot of life lived. She reviews a few dates here. We know the staff appreciation luncheon will be postponed. There is a field trip coming up. I don't know how will that be affected by
Oh, Friday.
COVID?
And not that I've heard.
Okay. That's on Friday. The 6th grade will be going to Northwestern to visit on the 13th. Then we'll be doing the Smarter Balance testing, 17th to the 27th. And there's no school on Memorial Day. And our enrollment is at 71.
Smarter balance testing is a paper test or is it all on the computer? or
It's
on
all
the-
computer.
Computer.
The students have been in practice on the computer. and iPad.
And they're not timed or anything like that, like that.
Okay, we're gonna move on to our standing committee reports.
Can I add a
Oh,
comment?
yeah, please.
I just wanted to say thank you to Jim at the transfer station. I know a large portion of the fundraising for the 6th grade is through the cans, and he every single Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday rebags the bin, takes out the full bag, rebags the bin, stores them until the person can come get them and
Wow.
return them. And
Who's doing that?
Jim at the transfer station.
Oh, wow.
And he asks all the time, how was the trip? How did the
Oh,
kids like it?
how
you know what? We should ask the
wonderful.
kids to write him a letter, write him
Yeah.
a note or
Lovely.
something like that. To let him know what's going on. I bet he'd really appreciate that.
And that's a super huge help.
And thank you for
It's so much.
taking them in and exchanging them for money.
I can't believe, well, first of all, just so everybody knows, Amy has taken this on early, like before we actually have sixth grade classes. And so I don't even know what kind of special place in heaven you get for that. But I hate returning plant cans and I think that's fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thanks for everyone donating. Yeah.
Mary Beth, can you talk to Mrs. Aslin about coordinating? Okay.
You can get a box of chocolates.
Okay, let's see. We had to we postponed our curriculum and technology committee meeting today. I'm sorry, Amy, I got the impression that you didn't, you were here waiting.
Yep, it was perfect timing.
Okay.
Got here, got back in my car. All worked out.
Great. John, was there anything you wanted to report? I know the budget passed, but was there anything you wanted to mention about the finance committee?
Nothing aside from the fact that we got our budget passed, so.
Huzzah.
Come to the town meeting on the May.
Jay was not able to be here tonight, so we will wait to hear about policy and we're going to table our policy reading.
Well, well, we've got a quorum. This is an important policy to have on our books. So we could consider tonight the second reading. And if people have read it and are feeling comfortable voting to accept this policy, we can accept it tonight and have it on the books. If you prefer to wait, we can do it in June. We just need to make sure we have it for, before the summer.
We'll wait till June.
Yeah, we've got time, right? We can do it. So we'll just wait till next week.
Yeah,
or
I
next
wait
month.
because Jay and Janet are on the committee and
Right.
they're both not here.
Okay.
Health and wellness.
We didn't meet.
Okay. Communications.
We met in our
Sure,
heads.
so
Yeah.
Janet's not here. Ginger, you want to mention anything about the PTO?
We have a meeting maybe next week.
That's the impression I have.
It's May. That's all I have to say. It's the end of my semester. I'm lucky I'm here. Yeah, we're working on the teacher appreciation stuff, end of year. Is there
Talent show.
talent?
That's what
Oh,
that's the thing I want to start talking about. And I have to send in a message to the school to work on those dates. I have luckily secured sound and lights from my favorite tech support person. So now I just have to get those dates approved by the school and then an announcement will go out for that, for when we used to call it auditions, but I really want to just call it talent show sign up because I think auditions is sometimes intimidating people or keeping them away. And the whole intention of auditions or of that meeting is just to have kids come and sort of formulate their idea, make it concrete and commit to it. But anyway, there's more to come on that.
is there anything- I'm trying to think. Is there anything else? The garden, like
Garden received a grant.
Right,
That was
from the
the
Berkshire Taconic
foundation.
Foundation.
So that was really great. That was good news for the garden, for the PTO.
Get some new gates.
That's the plan. Yep, absolutely. And stuff is starting to ramp up in the garden, I imagine.
Yeah.
But yeah, good things are happening in PTO. We're also trying to run PTO meetings hybrid, like this one. Working out the kinks still, but that's the hope and the plans is so we can get more people involved and make it a little easier to participate. We will be having elections
Right.
coming up. I'm not quite clear if it's this month or next month, but it'll be sometime soon. And elections are open, and so people can always come and vote or run or whatever they want to do.
Can I just clarify you were wrong? But PTO is parents and staff here can also.
Oh, absolutely.
So maybe
Every,
If it's Zoom now, maybe that makes it easier for some people to.
Yeah, so you know what we should probably do is really make a pitch, like really put out there that this is a possibility. You can connect by Zoom. How did you find the experience of connecting by Zoom? What's the- Yeah, it worked out all right.
Yeah.
And you could hear okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
I think
Yeah.
setting up not facing the windows.
Yeah,
is all
yeah.
in somewhat, yeah.
So there was a
Just
little,
artistic.
yeah. Yeah, that actually, that using the cafeteria is tricky for that reason. It's always hard with the light in that room at that time of day, but
Mhm.
I
And
don't
the
really know
noise
why we,
from the back in the kitchen too.
yeah, I wonder if it would make more sense to move the meeting here,
Probably.
but
Would it be inappropriate for the administration of hotel just to put the word out at a staff meeting saying there's
Can do that.
a Zoom link for
Yeah.
PTO? And
mhm. Let's start listing that Zoom link somewhere too.
Well, I can do it. I usually do it on Band and Instagram and Facebook. And then Mary Pat puts it in the newsletter.
Excellent. But I have to set the link first though, right?
Yes.
So,
So, yeah, I can do that too.
Excellent. okay, good. Fantastic. Okay,
You should do what you do with the Board of Ed and just make all the links
Make
at the
them all
beginning
for
of
the-
the year.
right. I think that's
I
easier.
can't think that far ahead right now, though, sorry.
Okay. Let's see, is this no, this is not a time for school safety. That's next time.
So our meeting was postponed, so we'll be having this, the next safety and security meeting on the 17th of May.
Okay,
This has not been a good year for being able to stick to our schedules, but I'm really glad we have the schedule. We're still meeting much more consistently than we would be without a schedule, but
Yeah.
people's flexibility and understanding is greatly appreciated.
And was there anything you wanted to report from as the Board of Finance liaison, Amy?
No,
We had a lot of Board of Finance interaction in the last couple of months, so.
Are you
Pretty
still
well.
on Board of Finance, Amy?
I resigned last
You
week.
did.
Oh,
And they are looking, the Democratic Town Committee is looking for a replacement. If anyone knows of anyone, I'm trying to help them find someone. So if you know anyone who wants to be an alternate,
I felt bad because there was only one person on the Board of Finance who had small children in town. And so I think that perspective is now missing from the Board of Finance. And so I don't know if anyone with small children.
Well, we should probably canvass our families and see if
Yeah.
there's anyone who
John-
might be
John-
willing and able to
John
do
Bennett.
that. What about Mary now? Would she be interested in being?
maybe.
Well, I mean,
Just probably talk
we
about that.
probably shouldn't bring up
Yeah.
individuals.
Oh, I suppose that's.
All right, so,
Yeah.
But-
We're being recorded here.
the Botel Advisor Group hasn't met.
we haven't met, but we talked last week about meeting and I'm drafting an email. We should meet before the summer. Definitely.
Okay. Okay, so, unfinished business, the Board of Ed luncheon.
Well, several months ago, there was board conversation about how the board really wanted to do something for the teachers and do a luncheon. And it was in passing and it was a busy night and the board asked that we put it on the agenda for May. So we put it on the agenda, but we're not really clear what it was the board was thinking about when they started that conversation.
I think it was just about like keeping up good relationships. But since there is the board the PTO does
Yeah.
the appreciation lunch now,
Yeah.
maybe this isn't the right time. But maybe we could think about doing something like that where we could kind of get the board together with the teachers. What time of year do you guys think that would work?
Well,
Or has there been a
we
traditional
have
time
the
of year?
Days in August, it might be
Mhm.
nice for a kickoff on one of those days to have, a break. There are no children in the building. And we could have something set up, board members could come and we could, incorporate that into the first few days of school.
I think
Or
that's a
the
good
That
board
sounds like a good
school.
idea. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
I don't know if all of us could attend, but the majority of us probably could come in for a
And then
lunch.
we have the first 3 days of school that are, half days, but,
Oh,
it would
yeah.
probably be best one of the first 3 full days of PD in August.
Okay.
But
What are the dates of those?
Oh, is it just two? Right,
Monday,
you're right.
Monday, Tuesday.
So August 29th and 30th are teacher in service. The first day
Yeah.
of school is August 31st. And that says a full day. So,
Really?
yeah,
On next year's calendar?
that's what I have in here. 2022, 23. Oh, you have it bolded. Okay, it's not slashed, it's just bolded,
Okay.
but that's a half day.
Okay, so we're looking at either Monday, August 29th, or Tuesday, August 30th,
Yeah,
a lunch.
yeah.
And so traditionally, like, I know that that's been something Sally has done in the past, right? And so does she provide the food, or
No,
how
so
does that
it's-
work?
As long as I've been here, we've done it. The administration has done it.
Okay,
So if we're happy to make it a board luncheon, and make it a combined,
It used to be years ago, the board did the lunch.
okay, well, that was before my
Board
time.
members would come, they would make food, they would chip in for food. And then it just kind of, everybody's busy, schedules are busy, everybody got busy, so then it just came, we did it as the first day. Staff back, 'cause all staff was back on that.
gotcha.
Which is the Tuesday.
Oh, so we could just invite ourselves to your luncheon. I like that idea. That sounds fantastic.
And I'll make cards that says, "Thank you from the Board of Education."
Hey,
So
I'm
what we
getting this. This is
typically
great.
do, Monday is the teachers come back, and then the Tuesday, all staff come back. So we make it on the day with all staff. And what we've done, had Heidi cater it mostly.
Great. Support the town.
So we will invite the board and we
Okay.
will make it a back to school, welcome back.
Okay,
You can do whatever little touch you want to
Okay.
add to that, but we'll plan on doing that.
I'll make cookies.
And can make a cake. Can you make those brownie things
go
with
with
the
the bacon in
coconut?
them.
Separate cookies.
Yeah, those are good.
Well, if you want to do that, have the dessert, we'll tell Heidi not to do dessert. Whatever.
You're just gonna have to remind me,
Yeah.
August
Well,
29th.
we can talk about that again.
I
We
was-
we
I-
won't
we
be
don't
worrying
have to
about
make a
that
cake.
for a few months.
All right, great. Well,
Yeah.
that's good. So
I can
that's-
have John make a cake, my John.
I like making it. Whatever. We'll talk about that. I just have to remember. Okay, well, so. Good. We wanted to keep the meeting a little short tonight, so we're 6 minutes short of the scheduled time. I don't think we have anything to discuss in new business, so I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll move we adjourn.
Okay, all those in favor?
All right.
Okay, motion carries. Nobody left.